Environmental laws in India and social work intervention with respect to environment. Environmental laws in India. 1. Indian Forest Act, 1927. Aims to regulate the use of forest produce and conserve forest resources. Classifies forests into reserved, protected, and village forests. Empowers the government to declare forest lands and regulate timber and other forest products. 2. Wildlife Protection Act, 1972. Provides protection to wild animals, birds, and plants. Establishes protected areas, e.g., national parks, wildlife sanctuaries. Schedules categorizing species based on level of protection needed. Prohibits hunting and trade of endangered species. 3. Water, Prevention and Control of Pollution, Act, 1974. Aims to prevent and control water pollution. Establishes central and state pollution control boards, CPCB and SPCBs. Powers to monitor, inspect, and penalize polluters. Focuses on maintaining and restoring water quality. 4. Forest Conservation Act, 1980. Seeks to limit deforestation and conserve forests. Mandates prior approval from the central government for converting forest land for non-forest purposes. Empowers the government to take strict action against violations. 5. Air, Prevention and Control of Pollution, Act, 1981. Focuses on controlling and reducing air pollution. Establishes pollution control boards and grants them authority to set air quality standards. Regulate emissions from industries and vehicles. Monitor ambient air quality. 6. Environment Protection Act, 1986. Enacted after the Bhopal gas tragedy. Umbrella legislation to provide a framework for coordination between central and state authorities. Empowers the central government to set environmental standards. Regulate industrial activities. Take direct action against environmental hazards. 7. Biological Diversity Act, 2002. Implements the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD. Aims to conserve biological diversity. Promote sustainable use of its components. Ensure fair and equitable sharing of benefits from the use of biological resources. Establishes National Biodiversity Authority, NBA. State Biodiversity Boards, SBBs. Biodiversity Management Committees, BMCs, at local levels. Environmental movements in India. 1. Bishnoi Movement, 1730. Origin, Kajarli Village, Rajasthan. Year, 1730. Leader, Amrita Devi Bishnoi. Cause, protest against the cutting of kedri trees by the king's men for wood to build a palace. Key incident. Over 363 Bishnoi men, women, and children sacrificed their lives by hugging trees to prevent deforestation. Slogan, a chopped head is cheaper than a felled tree. Significance. Considered the first environmental movement in India. Inspired later movements like Chipko. 2. Chipko Movement, 1973. Origin, Uttarakhand, then Uttar Pradesh. Year, 1973. Leaders, Chandi Prasad Bhatt, Sunderlal Bahuguna, Gaura Devi. Cause, protest against commercial deforestation and granting of forest land to private contractors. Tactics, villagers, especially women, hugged trees to prevent them from being cut. Slogan, ecology is permanent economy. Significance. A landmark movement in environmental activism. Led to a ban on felling trees in Himalayan forests. Emphasized community rights and forest conservation. 3. Appiko Movement, 1983. Origin, Western Ghats, Karnataka. Year, 1983. Leader, Pandurang Hegde. Inspired by Chipko Movement. Cause, protection of forests from logging and commercial exploitation in the Western Ghats. Tactics, villagers embraced trees and launched awareness campaigns, folk dances, and foot marches. Slogan, save, grow, and use rationally. Significance. Localized movement focusing on sustainable use of forest resources. Promoted the conservation of biodiversity and traditional knowledge. 4. Narmada Bachao Andolan, 1985. Origin, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat. Year, 1985. Leaders, Mithapakar, Baba Amt, Arundhati Roy, supporter. Cause, protest against construction of Sardar Sarovar Dam on the Narmada River. Issues raised. Displacement of thousands of tribal and rural families. Loss of forests and submergence of fertile lands. Inadequate rehabilitation of affected people. Tactics, peaceful protests, legal battles, hunger strikes. Significance. Brought global attention to the social and ecological costs of large dams. Led to court interventions and re-evaluation of development models. 5. Silent Valley Movement, 1973 to 1985. Origin, Kerala. Year, protest began in 1973, dam project cancelled in 1985. Cause, opposition to a proposed hydroelectric dam in Silent Valley, a tropical evergreen forest rich in biodiversity. Supported by scientists, environmentalists, writers, students. Key concern, threat to endangered species, like the lion-tailed macaque and unique ecosystems. Outcome. The project was stopped in 1985. Silent Valley declared a national park in 1986. Significance. One of the first successful scientific conservation movements. Highlighted the need for ecological impact assessment in development projects. Social work intervention with respect to environment. 1. Social work intervention in the management of environment. Social workers contribute to environmental management by promoting sustainable and community-based approaches to environmental challenges. Key roles. Community mobilization. Engage local populations in managing resources such as forests, water, and waste. Capacity building. Train communities in sustainable agricultural practices, eco-friendly livelihoods, and waste management. Disaster risk reduction. Assist communities in managing environmental hazards, e.g., floods, droughts, cyclones, through preparedness and resilience building. Policy advocacy. Advocate for people-centered and ecologically sustainable development policies. Examples. Promoting rainwater harvesting in drought-prone areas. Organizing eco-clubs in schools and colleges. Supporting waste segregation and composting at the community level. 2. Social work intervention in protection and promotion of the environment. This involves proactive efforts to protect natural resources and promote environmental awareness. Key interventions. Awareness campaigns. Educating the public on environmental issues like pollution, conservation, and climate change through street plays, workshops, and campaigns. Environmental education. Incorporating ecological consciousness into formal and informal education, especially among youth. Advocacy and legal action. Engaging in or supporting legal actions, e.g., PILs, for environmental justice. Community participation. Empowering marginalized groups, e.g., tribal communities, women, to participate in environmental decision-making. Tools used. Participatory rural appraisal, PRA. Eco-social work models. Rights-based approaches. 3. Role of NGOs in environment protection. Non-governmental organizations, NGOs. Play a vital role in promoting environmental sustainability and justice through grassroots engagement and policy advocacy. Major functions. Awareness and education. Conduct environmental education programs, workshops, and campaigns. Afforestation and conservation. Engage in tree plantation, wildlife conservation, and biodiversity protection. Policy influence. Participate in environmental governance and influence public policy. Research and innovation. Conduct studies on environmental impact, climate change, and community-based solutions. Disaster relief and recovery. Provide eco-sensitive relief in the aftermath of environmental disasters. Notable environmental NGOs in India. Center for Science and Environment, CSE. The Energy and Resources Institute, TERI. Greenpeace India. Chintan Environmental Research and Action Group. Kalpavriksh.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in next video.